It is Monday, June 11th, 7:11 a.m. And I just poked myself in the stomach with a pen. Before work, I don't know why I feel the need to talk about this now. I just got done with my 11th listen of the Kid Cudi Ghost album with Kanye and Kid Cudi. This is probably the first time I've wanted to like an album so much. Not only because you have one of the most influential artists of all time, got Kid Cudi. I like Kid Cudi. On the same album, 7 songs. Not much room for failure, but not much room for filler. 23 minutes or so, 20-something minutes. And I say wanted to because I've never had to like a Kanye. I've never had to make myself feel like I had to change my listening or change my ears, if this makes sense, to appreciate what was going on in the project. I never felt that way before. So I tried it with this album and I couldn't. I'm sorry, I failed you guys. I'm sorry. You know, not too long ago, y'all was going at me on Twitter for saying that I just thought the album was okay. In all seriousness, there were a couple of things that I wanted to talk about with the album and a couple of questions I have for Kanye and Kid Cudi and Kid Cudi Ghost fans in general, because I do want to understand you guys. I don't want to just write it off as, oh, it was mediocre to me, so I don't care about anybody else's opinion on it. I do want to know why you like it so much. But I will tell you from my perspective, there's so many ways to kind of digest the album, meaning you could take it as Kid Cudi and Kanye facing their demons in the psychedelic adventure. You could take it as Kid Cudi and Kanye reverting to the purest form of themselves and saying that we have this higher understanding now, that we've been through so much mentally. You could take it as them forming this new world, this new dimension, as they're freeing themselves from the shackles of the world. While listening to the project, and I've noticed this over the past few projects that have been dropped, at least from Ye and from Kid Cudi Ghost, I've noticed that you want Kanye to do better. You want him to do good, regardless of how much people say that, oh, you only don't like this because of his Donald Trump tweets. You only don't like this because of his tweets about slavery, his comments about slavery. None of that was a factor in any of this. I mean, people can legitimately just dislike the album and not be related to their political views at all. Maybe they just don't like it like that. I think the mental health references in such strong repeated fashion on both the Ye and the Kid Cudi Ghost album add this feeling of rooting, I guess you want to say. You could root for Kanye, you could root for Cudi while listening to the project as you hear them detail some of the things that go along with mental agony like depression, like bipolar disorder. It kind of feels like a victory lap by the end of the album because you feel like these guys have finally found a resolution to deal with that agony, whether that resolution be faith, whether it be a new positive outlook, whether it be taking themselves out of a certain environment. You just feel better knowing that they are doing better. So that's one reason to me I feel a lot of people are taking this album a little bit more personally than I think they would normally. If you wanted to view Kanye as the hero of the story and he has a setback, he has something that's holding him from being the unapologetically best version of himself. Yeah, people have said that. It makes sense that you would want to root for the hero of the story. I mean, this will be Kanye's best moment, him overcoming an obstacle. But here's why I say I feel the exact same, if not a little bit worse, about this Kid Cudi Ghost album than I did during my initial listen, is because the album at 7 tracks, much like majority of Kanye's comments in the media, even though those hold no factor in how I think about this, they kind of tie into the way of thinking I feel Kanye, the path that he's gone down mentally when it comes to making these albums. Because I feel like the point of the album, I feel like the content, the lack of tracks, the lack of time given to these ideas such as mental illness, given to these ideas such as unshackling yourself from fears and demons, all of these things just don't feel like they belong on a 7-track album. It's like trying to document religion and science in an EP. These are just too broad, too specific of syndromes, too specific of situations that affect too many people to, I feel, accurately get a nice feel for, or get a nice feeling of empathy or sympathy for in just seven tracks. Imagine the world Kanye and Cudi could have created if they gave themselves the time to flesh out more tracks in as much detail as the tracks that we may have gotten on Kids See Ghosts. This feeling of emptiness with the album and this lack of completion leads me to my next point about how I feel Kanye handled himself on the Ye album by saying he feels like a superhero. And that's one of the symptoms I guess people have told me about being bipolar, is you would feel a certain way one day or for a little while, and then you'd feel completely different, you know, another week or another day or at any random moment in life. The feelings and the moods can just switch. But this adds to my feeling about why I feel Kanye completed this album based off of a temporary feeling. Everybody's album, 7 tracks. I feel like maybe he was rushing himself to get through these albums because he didn't know how long the feeling would last. I mean, we're dealing with a Kanye that's never made an album under 40 minutes. Just in my opinion, I don't know how else to explain how we get a guy who explains and talks so much about himself to go down to 20 minutes for everybody, not only himself, but everyone on his label, unless he was unsure of how long this motivation or this feeling would last him. I feel like a good portion of this album is based in and wrapped in emotion, based in energy, not really based in any kind of strong logic or any kind of strong explanation. And putting production to the side for a minute, I don't see how the tracks here, as far as how they're explained, are that much different than Kanye was explaining himself on the Ye album. And yes, this is a collaborative effort between Cudi and Kanye, but I don't feel like they're handled in the same way at all. I feel like the contribution from Kanye is just so much more poignant, especially lyrically when we get into the album, when we start taking away from what they're saying. I just feel like Kanye has so much more to say. Kid Cudi, don't get me wrong, has a lot to say as well, but I kind of feel like he just reiterates points that Kanye kind of starts off. I don't think Kanye could have gotten anyone other than Kid Cudi to perform with him on this project, so I am happy about that. And this is no way bad at all. I just feel like it's an empty canvas. I feel like there's so much room for more with an album like this that just isn't detailed or explained to the degree that I feel the quality is, because the quality of the album is great. When I'm talking about the production, how it sounds, Kanye definitely has not lost his ear. The album to me just comes off like a half-written script for a potentially great movie. And no, this has nothing to do with lyricism. It's just them explaining themselves in a more detailed fashion, much like I wanted Kanye to explain his comments in regards to him bringing up slavery randomly on his Ye album. I didn't have a problem with him bringing it up, but he didn't explain why he said it in the first place. And as I said in my initial listen for this album, I like going on a psychedelic adventure, but I kind of want it paired with a better song structure. I kind of want it paired with some more song ideas. I feel like presenting these ideas in a space where music is so consumable and we move on to the next thing almost instantaneously, providing an album like this in the duration or the time period that they do probably is going to go over well for most people. It's not that long. It's just, the album feels like a sketch. It feels like a draft. It feels like a rough draft of something that's supposed to be. And I am surprised that people are accepting it as the revised work. Because to me, I don't feel like there was enough time to flesh out what the album could have been. It's modern, it's now, there's infusions of genres, some wonderful use of samples. Some people hit me up and told me that Kurt Cobain was a sample on the last track. While I 100% enjoy the experience from a musical standpoint, as an idea, it just feels too unpolished and too unfinished for me, personally, to enjoy it like that. I think to the fan base of Kanye that want to see him do well and want to see him better and want to see resolution to any problems that he may be facing in a musical fashion, this is probably going to be a great album. But for people like me who just want something more concrete, more complete, more to the point, and less scattered, they probably won't. Feelings haven't changed that much on the project. Like I said, I actually like it a little bit less now, but you know, it is what it is. Hopefully people are still liking it out there. Me personally, I just couldn't find enjoyment to that degree from this Kanye album, Kanye and Kid Cudi effort. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. And like I said, let me know in the comment section down below. It's not an insult. Just let me know how you feel about it. And I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.